To romanticize something means to portray something in an unrealistic way, usually in a way that is more appealing or ideal or heroic than how that something actually is. Interestingly, the word romance originates from an old French word meaning a story, written or recited, of the adventures of a knight, hero, etc., often one designed principally for entertainment. Looking back at the etymology of romanticization gives us a better idea of what it means to romanticize something. It thus comes as no surprise that the word romance alone evolved to its more commonly known and used definition, the definition having to do with love and affection and courtship. Probably since love and affection and courtship are often things that are portrayed in an unrealistic way, usually in a way that is more appealing or ideal or heroic than what they actually are. If you watch any romance movie or read any romance novel and compare it to reality, you'll see elements of romanticization. But elements of romanticization are evident in all aspects of life, not just in love. Romanticization seems to be most evident when describing the big milestones in life like birth, coming of age, marriage, sickness, death. This is expected since these milestones tend to be significant and impactful in life, even without the exaggerations that come with romanticization. Some events, like marriage, are romanticized and viewed in a fairy tale-like manner. Other events, like death, are reverse romanticized and viewed as catastrophic. Certain professions, like medical doctors and psychotherapists, tend to be romanticized too, which is also expected. Both professions are supposed to have a positive, transformative effect on people. They change lives. They both deal with health, which is essential for the well-being of humans. However, when the picturesque romance fades after the honeymoon phase of a marriage, we get left with the trivialities of daily life and the associated bickering. When the grieving process over the death of a loved one is over, we get left with a whole bunch of logistical and legal details to deal with. When patients don't get better or doctors lose their passion, we get left with a discouraging health system. Perhaps it is revealed that some of the doctors never had any passion for the field of medicine to begin with, that maybe they just went into it out of convenience or status. Anyway, people have a tendency to romanticize these things. They have a desire to let emotions of pain and pleasure manifest in some grandiose and eternal way. But a lot of the times, what we actually experience is a much more muted and non-stimulating version of what we want to experience or expect to experience. This leads to anticlimaxes, disappointment, and even shock. Romanticization has its benefits, of course. It spices up life and is a powerful tool to let certain ideas be expressed or experienced. It's inspiring and exciting and awe-provoking. It just can be dangerous when a romanticized version of something is taken to be as an actual reality. It's important to never ignore the full dimensions of an event or an emotion. Even the most impactful parts of life tend to have a dull, routine, tedious part to them. Also, impact is usually only temporary. What once may have had a tragic or a phenomenal impact can eventually become mundane, because life goes on. Realism imposes itself on the daily, and maybe it's better that way, even if it's a little boring. At the very least, it brings sanity. Perhaps a boring or painful experience is better accepted as it is than its enchanting or pleasurable counterpart, because the former may be more based in truth and reality, while the latter is based in fantasy and romance. Not that truth and fantasy and reality and romance are necessarily mutually exclusive, but that's another topic. To end off this video, I'm going to read a quote from a sociology textbook that in part inspired me to make this video. It sums up everything quite nicely. For better or worse, our experience of society is very largely an experience of routines. We may regret this because it robs life of excitement. We may also console ourselves by reflecting that it is only because most of our experience is ordinary that we have any energy left for the extraordinary things that do happen from time to time. In any case, regrettable or reassuring, the routine character of most of our experience with others is a necessary condition for society as an ongoing enterprise. Nobody of knowledge could be taught in a classroom in which every moment was as exciting as Adam's first rendezvous with Eve. Similarly, no continuous transaction of any sort could go on between people who, each time they met, would have to redefine all the terms of their relationship and all the rules of their dealings with each other. If such a society were possible, which it is not, life would perhaps be very exciting, but it would also be very difficult indeed. At best, everyone would be exhausted all the time. At worst, everyone would go out of his mind.